Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon to those who are in the UK time zone or nearby time zones, and good time of the day for the rest of you. Thank you for joining this weekly webinar where we answer questions that are asked anonymously on practical, result-based tips on mental well-being. Let's wait for 5 to 10 more seconds because I can see some people are joining. And we have a good set of questions that were submitted last week. While we wait, I just wanted to share that all the recordings are available on our YouTube channel. And depending on the topic of the day, you can actually check which topic is relevant to you. There are certain topics related to workplace, some topics related to businesses, and so forth. You can pick and choose. So have a look around and hope you benefit from there. You can see there is a QR code on the bottom right where you can still ask more questions anonymously. Okay, let's get started, conscious of time. Hi, my name is Jeev Sahoo, Sahoo like Yahoo. I speak about mental well-being because life happens. I'm not a psychologist to start with, but got educated in psychology much later in life. And this was triggered by a bereavement of one of the closest persons in my life. And I was running a corporate job, going around different countries. But what I thought was stress and burnout was something related to grief. And once I started talking about it, things changed. After which I really got myself educated in psychology, especially in cognitive behavioral therapy. Now, this was just for myself, but later when COVID happened, I started explaining and talking with some of my friends, and this is how these Mindly webinars got created because people said, "Hey, whatever you spoke looks like it is working. So can we talk a bit more about it?" So I have been an employee, I've been a manager, I've been a leader, I've made money, lost money, I have made friends, lost people in life. So I'm one of you. And we like all of us going through different situations. I was also looking for answers, and I thought, let me share some targeted answers to some real questions and with just two KPIs. Does does the technique work, and is it a simple technique? The reason for this is there are millions of videos available. People are trying to be their own psychologist, but can we make it work? Can we make it as simple as washing your hands to prevent a pandemic? So let's get on with that. In the Tuesday webinars, we have free answers through Ask Me Anonymously. You have the link and the QR code displayed over here. We also do one monthly webinar, which is a paid version, and it is mainly for directors and business leaders who do not have time and want to have an end-to-end overview of mental well-being in 90 minutes flat. And even if you are not able to attend it, if you have booked it, recordings are provided in any case. So have a look around. If you have not subscribed, please do. It does something to the algorithm so that others can get this particular uh, webinar. At the same time, you also get targeted and more optimized videos your way. Let's get started. Let's get started with one small statistic. 4 in 5 small business owners tell us they're experiencing poor mental health. And this research is by Ivoca and Mental Health UK. You can find it online. I'll share a link for this. There is a different slide which gives more statistics as well. It has been discussed many times in our past webinars, and I'll show that slide briefly towards the end so that you can take a screenshot. But this is a big ratio, 4 in 5, 80%. And even though you might say, I'm not a small business owner, I'm a parent or I'm a teacher or something of that kind, I have real data that this is increasing. Things are really worsening. As far as People who are not entrepreneurs, it is 60%, 3 in 5. And people who are business owners, it's 4 in 5. So it's still a big problem to have. And even though people have mental well-being issues, they still show up. So it's suboptimal presentism, or people are just absent to start with, and it hurts both the person as well as the business. I'm looking at both sides. It's not just looking at the money side of things, but look what the person is going through. They're not able to speak with someone. They're conscious of being judged, and even if they speak, is something happening. There are many courses and trainings happening about how do you identify mental health, and many companies are doing this as a checklist exercise. But what's next? And this is an important topic for today. The reason I've picked up this from the questions which are submitted is because one of the biggest common questions that come is, when do we talk about mental well-being? Is it a coffee topic? Is it some topic when people are going through crisis? What's the best time to talk? What happens? Hence, I wanted to share that this is a growing topic and becoming more and more generic everywhere. Now, speaking of variety of mental well-beings situations, there are there it all starts when things are very, very mild. Think of it like something that goes from a simple sneeze becomes a flu, and then it becomes something more serious. So, which is why I have highlighted this thing here: generalized anxiety disorder. It starts at a very, very general level. And just for completion's sake, you can see what are the worsened anxiety disorders, and things can even become worse than this. But all of this starts at a very, very generic state where you might not even know that we are going through anxiety or frustration or something like that. We just might say, okay, I'm just feeling mad of some version, or I'm feeling impatient, feeling overwhelmed, or goes to burnout, watch a video, and then come back. And in some of our courses, we have explained this as the anxiety distraction cycle. So I felt bad about something, I go watch something, watch something on Facebook, on YouTube, on Netflix, distract myself, or people could distract themselves with food, with substances, and so forth. And then they come back with the same problem once more. However, if we look at it at the very beginning stage, when it is even more general than you think, it has the biggest impact on prevention. And this is where government and medical authorities might not even talk to you because they think you're fine. In fact, when I was going through my own situation, I was tested physically in every which way, and I was told I was completely fine. I used to run marathons. I was extremely fit. I was fine, but I was not fine. I was getting nightmares. I was getting stressed. I was getting burnouts, headaches, variety of symptoms. We have a complete 30-minute webinar on how do you spot these symptoms in day-to-day life. Okay. You can go back and have a look at it. But I was told I was fine. I was not fine. But NHS and other hospital authorities, they're full of other issues that they have to give more priority to. And they said when things become worse, I can go back to them. I really don't want to do that. I don't want to worsen it. I don't want to go into a worsened situation of that mindset. Now, you might have seen a bunch of self-help books that say, hey, create your own habits, you do small things and every day, and it creates a huge compound effect. And many times people say if you start saving $5 from the age of 20, you could be a millionaire by much, much earlier compared to saving $50,000 when when you are too late. And that's because of the compound effects. What people miss out is the negative side of compound effects as well. Meaning, if you miss out on taking care of a mild anxiety today things did not feel good, um, and you do the same again, and you do the same again. You can see on the chart at the bottom, and I've shared the source for it. You can go and have a look at it as well. you're having a negative compound effect. So meaning for the first few weeks, it might look like some joke or something sarcastic. Some you felt disrespected or felt afraid about something, but it kept on repeating and repeating. You haven't addressed it. After a few months, you may feel full-fledged panic. And if we can fix this at the beginning stage, the negative compound effect can be reversed. Okay, it can actually be on the positive side of things as well. Have a think about that. In fact, if you have seen our emotion matrix or emotion vocabulary, many a times it starts as a simple disturbance. It's not full-fledged frustration. It's not full-fledged panic. Initially, it's just disturbance. That disturbance could lead to feeling, let's say, disrespected or feeling a little scared. That feeling scared worsens and so forth. The faster we can catch it and switch to our green zone, it becomes better. So what's the lesson over here is the question we were trying to answer. When do you speak about mental health? When you don't need to speak about mental health is the answer. Meaning when you're feeling well, that's the time to speak about what to do when you're not feeling well, so that you can catch yourself. So that when things actually go wrong, you know, oh, okay, I might slip, but I know how to pick myself up. Now, listen, these kind of webinars and workshops are not here to give you a formula that you will never have a well-being issue. You'll never feel panic or something of that kind. Everybody feels that. Even do you think Elon Musk or Mark Zuckerberg would not have a single day without going through issues? They would have other resources. But like anybody, life happens. We will go up and down, but can we balance ourselves before it becomes really hurtful? That's our goal. So that is the time to start talking, and I'll give you some characteristic to look out for. Okay. The key lesson here is as early as possible, especially when you don't even need to talk about well-being. That's the time you talk about well-being. Mild, mild, mild. I mean, even before COVID happened, I used to give this example. Living with general anxiety, living with simple worries of life, etc., is like living with a common flu. I mean, you keep on sniffling, you keep on sneezing, but one might simply live with it just because it has not become life-threatening. It doesn't disturb. But we do see people who are like constantly sniffling or something. And the same thing happens with worrying about overwhelm with burnout and so forth. You might think, oh, it's just a passing phase. I mean, I might go and do a time management course, take a business coach, go for a jog, go for a party, blah, blah, blah. It keeps coming back. So stage one, and you can see the source of the image I have used. I've taken it from public sources. Stage one is when things are always mild, and I'll share some warning signs, but if you have watched our previous video, there are four different categories of warning signs. On the physical side, you feel tired, sleeplessness, burning eyes, sometimes a sensitivity to noise, and so forth. On the cognitive side of things, decision making is low. On the emotion side of things, someone is always lovely, but today they're really, really irritated. You might say that today they're having a bad day, but they're going through something. If it carries on, you got to catch it. Emotionally, people might just laugh a lot, be sarcastic, keep watching comedy, or cry a lot, or just withdraw. And that's not helpful. Okay. Second stage, the frequency increases and the severity increases. Like in any uh, situation, when the same thing keeps on happening again and again, you get the compound negative effect, and it becomes worse and worse. Even if it is a simple trigger like opening a door, it's making someone anxious. And I'm speaking from personal experience because, well, there was a time where I mean, I got the courage to speak about my childhood abuse, but I was afraid of doors at that time and I did not know why. Later, I found out why. But yeah, simple things can become severe. Stage three, symptoms worsen, recurring episode happens, serious disruption of life. This becomes part of the surveys that NHS does as well. I mean, is it disrupting your life? Are you forgetting day-to-day activities and so forth? You might. You might forget names, you might forget plans, because decision making is being affected. So look at that stage. And then stage four is when you really like symptoms are so persistent and severe that they have jeopardized our life. Now, the time to talk is even before stage one. And like they say, when is the right time to plant a mango tree? The best time was 20 years ago. The next best was today. So start today. Start whichever stage you are in, but the best time is as early as possible. Okay. If you see overwhelm, burnout, emotional breakdown of somebody who is normally quite fine, but oh my gosh, something happened, small thing happened, and people have broken down emotionally, worried about money, worried about the economy. How do you deal with uncertainty? They're really, really worried what might happen to them next. These are the symptoms to look out for. Now, you saw the symptoms which are like the physical side of things, emotional side of things, cognitive side of things, but many a times we don't really have a filter going on like these are the things I'm looking for. But it's easy to see somebody having an emotional breakdown or a nervous breakdown. If you see that, contact us, ask for support. If you have a first aid person, talk to them. If you have a support person in office, talk to them. If you have somebody in family, talk to them. Start by simple talk. I mean, there are so many topics that used to have stigma attached with them. Well-being was one of them, mental well-being especially. Before it becomes so-called mental, it is emotional. So again, we have to talk about it because now it's healthy to talk about these topics. If you don't, with what sense? But if you do, and I'm quoting a real person here who was in our workshops, it becomes a diminishing problem. The more you share, the more it becomes, the smaller it becomes. Now, this is the point I use this example. Some people ask me, Jeev, how do I talk about these topics in a group? If I talk about anxiety and so forth, I don't feel good. Once you start talking, the same people came back and told me, this is my support group. This is my friend circle. This is my group that understands. Not even my family understands, but I have a small group that understands. So the same person who was worried about sharing in a group is the person who is actually talking, now sharing more, and becomes a diminishing problem after that. Give it a try. I mean, you can come to one of our online coffee sessions or in-person coffee sessions. If you want to organize a coffee session, we'll come and have something. I mean, coffee, tea, or whichever thing you want. It's all about sharing and talking together. Okay. If you see these symptoms, don't wait until it becomes like stage two, stage three, stage four, or anything of that kind. It's good to talk right now. It starts very generic, just emotional, just as a disturbance, but it can pile up. So these are the things I wanted to share in one single slide. If you want to understand what we do for your workplace, you can click on the link, or you could also do the QR scan. I've put the symptoms over here: overwhelm, burnout, emotional breakdown, worried about economy and money, dealing with uncertainty. Have a think about that. We could do some discovery calls, coffee mornings. These are complimentary. We could do group workshops, no sales webinars. In many companies have started putting us on their employee handbook so that people can actually have a way to contact someone professional. And of course, we do a number of one-to-one sessions as well. It's all about feeling safe. Talk safely with Mindly. February is a month where it's in the US, it is celebrated as Boost Your Self-Esteem Month. And on the 2nd of February was the day, it's a time to talk day. In fact, I'll share a link over here later, but even in my Mindly, we do something called Mindly 10-10-10. And this has really caught up. It's about moving 10 minutes a day, donating 10 quid to a charity, and keeping a consistency of 10 days. So check us out. In fact, if you go to mindly.uk, you can see the 10-10-10 challenge as well. Take time to talk about how you are feeling and how the person in front of you is feeling. There is no shame. The least you will get out of it is a nice cup of coffee, a nice listening person. So it's okay. Just keep talking. Before I end, I wanted to share some statistics. Yeah, there we go. Those are the statistics. If you feel, you can take a screenshot. I've given the source down below as well. If you Google it, you can find this. But some of these statistics are mind-boggling. Some are on the positive side, some are on the negative side. As an example, on the negative side, well, look at this one. 90% of people who take time off with stress or anxiety never say that they're stressed or anxious. They might simply say, I'm not feeling well, I didn't have great sleep, or my tummy is not well, or my grandma died. I have I've heard extremely creative excuses, but it's not about the joke side of things. It's more about why do they not feel safe in sharing that? Can we make it a point that they can simply say, hey, just not feeling well today and not be judged? And could the business have some tools to test it out or check it out or have some methods of up to 5 days this can be there and after that you should take help and that kind of situation? Why not do that so that people will say, you know what? Well, it has happened 2, 3 times. I better take some help. So think about that. 75% of organizations have said that early intervention always helps. Initiatives to support well-being, preventive initiatives, they help. And 11% lower turnover, rehiring costs, retraining costs, these are very high. So 11% lower turnover can add up to huge numbers for your business, depending on the size and the kind of employees you kind of roles you have. These are all tested information, and you can see the sources listed down over there. But yeah, why don't we do something about it? 50%, 1 in 2 organizations don't have a well-being strategy. I mean, if you are one of them, contact us so we can share something. You could put our name on your employee handbook just to have a good quick start. And Deloitte has mentioned for every £1 spent, can get back £5 in reduction in presenteeism and absenteeism and staff turnover. It's huge. Okay, 5 times back. Have a think about that. I can see some more questions coming in, and one of them is, yeah, these are a couple of them are already answered. Good to know that. Yeah, thank you for sharing. You can keep asking more questions on the same link, and I'll come back again next week to answer these questions. Remember, we are alone together, meaning we feel that we are the only ones going through this journey, but nearly every one of us have their own journey. So why don't we talk together? Why don't we talk more about it so that we can do something together? And this becomes a diminishing problem. Use the tools, look at the other tools that are given in the webinar, call us for a free session, and we can all feel well together. Thank you for making the time. I'm conscious of time here. We have reached the end. If you have more questions, keep pinging us. You can look at all the recordings on our YouTube channel mentioned here and email us team@mindly.uk. Keep taking care of yourself. You're not alone. Take care and let's feel better together. Thank you.